Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good day, everybody, wherever you might be on the spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance Before the Veil. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, comment. Also, don't forget to follow us wherever you listen to your podcast. And also, don't forget to support us on Patreon at project_truth. Find the link in the description. Today, keys to unlock your brain's hidden abilities. Exclusive neuroscience-based strategies. A seasoned entrepreneur, captivating speaker, and best-selling author who has dedicated his life to reshaping the way we approach aging, live with purpose, and pass on a legacy of success. The founder and CEO of Over50.51.com. He has created a groundbreaking community that empowers adults over 51 with a step-by-step solution for health, wealth, and happiness. Let's welcome to the seance, Stu Morris. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you very much. I love the applause. It's fun. Well, thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
An honor, and humbled. And 51. I almost said 50. I was like, everybody's used to that 50, right over the hill, man. That's scary because I'm only a couple years away.
Yeah, I almost created a course once called Over 51 Edge.
Yeah.
I thought about it for a second. I thought, nah, maybe not. That's over the edge.
So there's all this talk. There's all this talk about neuroplasticity. What is that?
Neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing ability, natural ability, to change the neural pathways. So you can think of a neural pathway as a thought or a belief. Lots of different things. Something you see becomes a neural pathway. Something you hear and smell, anything through your five senses is a neural pathway. And there's lots of other neural pathways subconsciously. Like I slept all night and never once thought about my heart beating because our bodies are autonomic. We're selfish. I don't wake up and think, gosh, I hope Reverend, I hope he brushed his teeth this morning. I think about my teeth, right? And so we're selfish because we're internally built that way. We're built to the fight or flight. It's take care of me first, right? Save the baby second, but close. But
Yeah.
Get out of the way right now. And so that's just hung on. So all those things are neural pathways, right? Now, we used to think that your heart, like, okay, your heart's beating and there's nothing you can do about it. But now we know we can go to Tibet and find monks that can get their heartbeat down to like 20 and 15 and things, and for extended periods of time, and actually sometimes have a conversation during that really, low oxygenated blood. But little deal they're doing there is they're mentally and cognitively sharp still with a heartbeat of like 15 to 20. So we know we can control our autonomic nervous system, and since we can control that, our subconscious essentially, then we can control our thinking, because most of what we think is subconscious. It's habits. Like every time you approach the doorknob, if you had to go, okay, now how did this work again? Right? It's just now you don't even think about it. You don't even think about what you don't think about. Going to work and just, I was driving to the store the other day and I got off and Julia looks at me and goes, where are you going? I'm like, yeah, I had to go around because I was going to work kind of a thing, right? Instead of going to the store where we were going. So we live our lives on habits. Habits are natural. They are a lifesaver. Tie your shoe every day. Can you imagine relearning that every day? How long things would take, right? You just couldn't drive a car. It'd be almost impossible. If you didn't have habits, that your brain just said, okay, we've done this enough times, we can figure it out. We got it, right? And there's a little thing in your brain called the reticular activating system, and it decides what you focus on, right? Have you ever noticed that? You buy a yellow Volkswagen Bug, or you buy a new car, new to you, and when you're driving it home, you see all these yellow Volkswagen Bugs everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd they come from, right? We're always there, but you just bought one, and your RAS said, hey, this is important. We're going to focus on it, and all of a sudden you're seeing them. They've always been there. So thank God our brain's a deletion machine, or else we'd kind of be more autistic. We just wouldn't be able to, with so much coming in that our brain deletes about 99.7, 90.6. It's, nobody knows, right? 99%.
Yeah.
What we delete. Now, it's still, the memories are still there, which is nice to know. You don't have a memory problem. Your problem is recall, brother. And so we know this because we've taken the skull off the gentleman who was awake and spoke, just 76 years old, and chatted, not with us, with scientists, and they would have a conversation with him, and they touched his brain with an electrode, and he didn't remember his third birthday. He relived it.
Ooh.
The smell of the smoke from the candles, the taste of the cake, the sun coming in and hitting him in his face, what his mother's voice sounded like. He started to cry because he hadn't heard his mother's voice in whatever, like 20, 50, 60 years, something like that. I mean, you don't forget anything. It's all in there. Huh. It's recall. And we can work on recall. That could be helpful.
Yeah, it would.
Now we can do that. We have a neuroscientifically based approach to do that. It's not me. I didn't figure it out, right? I just teach on it. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of neuroplasticity is. It's the ability to change. What do you want to change? Your thinking, right? If you change your thinking, you change your life, right? So it's changing those neural pathways in your brain.
Yeah. I talk about this ability for people to do it, and I think more people do it now. But this thing called autopilot that we always seem to, like you get in a car and you're driving home from work, to work from home. But then if you actually think about it, you're like, how much of that drive did you actually remember? You were thinking about something else the entire way. And thank God you didn't get in an accident. But when you think about it, after you get to your destination, you're like, I didn't even concentrate one bit at all on that entire drive home.
Yeah.
Consciously. You got there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because amazingly, when that car's coming into your, out of your blind spot and it's coming in, it's not stopping and you slam on your brakes. You're still seeing it. It's just your reticular activating system is going, okay, this is important now. This is not stopping, right? But can you imagine your drive on the highway home or whatever? Maybe it's 10, 15, maybe it's an hour, right? And it's about an hour. But there's millions of cars going past you, and sometimes you're having a conversation, you're on the phone, you listen to the radio, you're singing with a song, you're doing thousands of different things. There's thousands of input comes in, and you don't even remember it. You are on autopilot until that car comes on your blind side, right? And so you're always there, but you don't have to worry about it because you got that reticular activating system says, I'll figure this out for you. I know what's important, what's not. Yeah. And we've developed that with our values. Kind of the bummer. I mean, it's good news and bad news. The bummer about values is that you started to value things and decide if they were important or not when you were months old. Like, you didn't say, Mom is great. You said warmth, comfort, food, nourishment, health, safety, all those kind of things. Your brain said, this is important, right? And you created a value around that connection with your mom, right? Later on, it grew and changed and did all sorts of things. But early on, you were creating values before you consciously knew you were aware in the universe, right? Yeah. And then when you got a little bit older, like 1 or 2, everyone else started telling you what to think, right? Maybe not you got to go think this, but they'd be like smack on the hand, or you'd see someone else get yelled at, or, don't do that because, right? Or a fear creeps in. And so those values get shaped oftentimes, most times, and I can't think of a time when they're not shaped when we're consciously aware of them. It's not till later in life we go, wait a minute, I don't have to believe that. I don't have to have that value. That's weird. Like, I'm so scared I don't want to go outside. I value comfort. I value being inside. I value being secluded. Well, I don't have to have that value if I don't think it empowers me anymore.
Yeah.
We didn't know that growing up, right? When we were little kids or 9 months old, your brain just puts together the values. Well, those values, they decide what you focus on, what you think about. And what you think about, your brain tends to want to create, it wants to create beliefs under, right? It wants to create all this certainty about things. You can kind of think of certainty as the paddles to a boat, right? I mean, you don't believe you can sit down in a chair until you're certain you can sit down in a chair. But once you're certain about it, you can dive across the room into the chair. Right? But those values lead to thoughts, and those thoughts lead to beliefs, and those beliefs, those are what become habits. Those beliefs become habits, not just opening the door, not just physical things like tying your shoes, but thoughts of, this guy in the freeway, he's my daughter said to me once, everyone that's driving around you is either an idiot or too slow or something like that. We're going to get like, oh my gosh, where is this guy going or whatever. And I don't think I'm that bad, but my daughter, she's a good, she's a lot of fun. But everyone's either a maniac or a turtle, and we get caught up in that, and those become habits naturally, right? And later on in life, you might go, well, I just want to take it easy. I'm retiring or something. I'm cutting back on my hours. I want to spend more time with my family, whatever it is, right? And you change, or sometimes you just go on vacation and you're sitting at the beach and you're like, oh, I haven't relaxed in forever. And you got to kind of teach yourself how to relax again. Those kind of feelings and thoughts, those are habits. We can change those habits. You change those habits, your legacy, your destiny is the sum total of your habits.
Yeah.
What's that? What kind of destiny do you want? What kind of legacy do you want to have that's impactful? We have science behind it now.
Thank God for that.
The coolest thing. We can fix my head. I love it. I'm passionate about teaching, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, about the book, tell us what is the book about? And let me bring it up so people can see it there. Power, influence, and purpose.
Okay, it is. So, couple quick things. Okay, so that's our first draft copy. So when you go buy the book, the cover probably won't look that way. It's going to the cover genius or whatever. We gotta get a start for it. But yep, that's it. Power, influence, purpose. And it's really, your power is the actions you take, right? That's our power. The definition of power in the dictionary, Webster calls it the ability to act. Right? So nothing happens until you take action, right? Influence is a measure of that power. Is how powerful are you? I don't know. How much influence do I have in life, or people, in things, how to help folks, what kind of impact am I leaving? And then purpose kind of just sums it all up, right? It's what's the whole thing mean, sort of a deal. And then what we've done is we just put together 10 essentials. It's not the whole thing, and there's lots to learn, but 10 essential neuroplasticity, really 10 neuroplasticity essentials, rather, that architect a legacy of impact, because we're all going to have a legacy. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to have a legacy, have an impactful one. You get to decide. And now, if it seems difficult to you, like people say, breaking a habit is so difficult, it takes so much effort. I'm like, really? Because making it didn't take any effort. Your brain knows exactly how to do it. Why don't you quit fighting your neurology over this and start working with your brain? It naturally knows how to create a habit. Create habits you like. Yeah. Create habits to break old habits you don't like. I mean, it's right there. That's what we do, is we just teach people the how's your brain work. This is the path to take. It's not rocket science. It's neuroscience.
Exactly. Do you have any breakthrough cases that you like to share?
Breakthrough cases. Well, there's I mean, sure, I can cite some cases for sure. The one that was really cool that I liked, because I'm 50. What am I now? 55? 55 or 56. I don't know. I didn't keep track. Neurologically, I'm like Peter Pan. So
yeah.
55, yeah. Julie will tell me. If I need to know anything, Julie tells me. Yeah.
That's happened to me a couple times. People ask me for my age, and I couldn't even tell them.
I think after 45, I quit worrying about it. In fact, I don't need to do this anymore. But they took taxi drivers in London, right? Neuroscientific study. It was a good one too, a long time, and a lot of research into it. and they compared their brains neuroplastically against bus drivers. Well, bus driver has a route, doop, stop, same sign, same, right? A taxi driver, London, it's like a crossword puzzle. I mean, so many streets and nooks and crannies and corners, and you got to memorize that, right? And you got to know right where to go, and you got to, before you can get your medallion, kind of a thing, right? So they tested their neuroplasticity, same age. A lot of the bus drivers were older. Overall, average age was a little older, and the neuroplasticity was like 7 times higher because they knew all the streets. They used it every day, used it every day. So we can extrapolate from that, right? We can extrapolate that it's like a muscle. Sit around all day, it'll atrophy, and it'll get weaker. And if you exercise it, it gets stronger. And so thank God our brains are just the same way, right? We can exercise them, get stronger, and not get weaker. And so we can use that and say, look, we have proof of this now, or we have a lot of evidence, because in science there's no proof for everything. We just have a lot of evidence for everything. I keep saying we. I'm Stu. I'm a farm town kid. I live on the coast of California, right? I do a lot of research, but I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm just thrilled by it. And I've helped people over the last 25 years with dementia, and I've owned care facilities and memory care facilities. I've helped families and that with neuroplasticity, with their cognitive decline. And so out of all that, plus my Nana, she had Alzheimer's. She didn't have Alzheimer's. She had dementia. We didn't know what she had. Then it just dismantled her, like in 6 months.
Wow.
And my Nana moved to America, lived with us from London. She traveled the world 9 times. She spoke 5 different languages. She was the head nurse on a hospital ship. She brilliant, could tell a story. And within a few months, just took her away.
Wow.
So it's been kind of a passion of mine for a long time. Like we should find a solution for this problem,
Yeah.
And so naturally, as a kid, finished school, I had a degree in business, and I started care homes, and I started as a paramedic, and I did those things thinking that's kind of a solution for it, but it's not. It's caring for the issue of it, the challenge of it, but it's not really a solution to increase or improve your cognitive capabilities, right? Your cognitive ability. And so as I've gotten older, I've kind of just moved to more, and I started helping more families. They're like, we don't know how to deal with this. And I thought, oh, I do. You can fix it with your habits, right? Kind of thing. And that's kind of how I poured into it. But the whole thing started from really dementia and trying to help folks with dementia. And it's very difficult at that point. We can prevent it, and we do pretty well at fixing it, repairing it, cognitive decline, especially under certain circumstances, like some strokes, depending on where the stroke's at in the brain, and accidents like brain injuries, kind of things. Like my daughter had cancer. She had brain surgery, and for 3 or 4 years, from 2 to like 6 years old, she didn't have any control of her bladder. But we worked with her and worked with her and worked with her and worked with her, and we couldn't fix those nerves from your brain to your bladder, but there's lots of nerves, and trillions of nerves in your body. The one from your big toe, I'm 6'5", and my big toe nerve is about 6'4", right about there. So these are long, big nerves, and there are trillion of them, and everyone's a cell. So when you feel something in your big toe, it's instantaneous to your brain. That's handy. A little faster than electricity sometimes, they think.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can work with somebody, and actually we got her to be able to feel when she needed to go to the bathroom again, and got her bladder working again. And we didn't repair her nerves. We just, made new neural pathways.
Yeah, changing a neural pathway. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Isn't that cool?
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. What are some of the common misconceptions about neuroplasticity?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what common misconceptions about neuroplasticity, but common misconceptions maybe about, what neuroplasticity can fix is cognitive decline or forgetfulness, maybe, right? So the big one is that there's this belief, and that's why the over51.com has just become such a movement, because people are tired of this, but there's this belief like, oh, I'm getting older, and that just happens. You can change that belief, first of all, but don't believe that, right? That is not true. I can prove to you neuroscientifically that you don't necessarily become more successful or more forgetful as you become older. You do become more successful generally, but you don't become more forgetful just because you become older. And depending on what you're doing, like entrepreneurship, people tend to be better entrepreneurs when they're older than they are when they're young. And so, there's a yin and a yang to everything. So don't give yourself one of these big overarching, all-encompassing beliefs that, well, I'm just getting older and that thing kind of happens. So belief is the big one, and that's the big misconception. Like, I can't fix it. I'm just old. That's not true. That's the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly neuroplasticity, but that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, convincing yourself is.
Yeah, you just bought in everyone else's belief, then it's not true. And we used to teach it, but it used to be taught, 70 years ago, like you hit 20, you're done. You got to learn everything. We packed kids full of information. You can go to Sacramento and see a 5th grade textbook from 1855. I think it is 1853. And it's a junior in college. Like algebra. We used to teach our kids a ton of stuff early on because we thought, oh, you hit 20 and you're done. Plus, you only lived to 40 and you started working at, 15. And so you had to get all that in you quick. And kids learned a lot early on, way more than they're learning now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nuts. But that's a story for another time, I think.
Do you feel that there's also a link to diet, a habit of diet that can play in on this?
Oh, good call. Absolutely. We found more and more foods high in antioxidants, nootropics. That's easy for me to say, by the way. Those are brain health food, right? I mean, I eat a handful of walnuts every day. I like them, but they're just good for your brain. And so, yeah, there's a huge between both. There is neuroplasticity, there's general neurology, there's neurobiology, the biological functions of your brain. There's neurophysiology and the physiological functions of your brain. And we know that nutrition and exercise and just living a healthy lifestyle improves your biology and your physiology. And you improve the brain's physiology, you improve the outcomes of what the brain's trying to do. Now, sometimes those outcomes are our own negative things and the brain's really good at, or sometimes they're very positive, empowering things, and the brain can be very good at that too. But what you put in, you get out. But if you feed it correctly and take care of it like any other part of your body, it's huge. It's some very big breakthroughs. It's almost kind of one of the problems is in the neurosciences. There's something like 300 to 350 like new papers and stuff being published every year. It's almost every day. So wow. It is a subject that has a ton of information. I'm on 25 different, school lists and stuff. And yeah. I get all this stuff from the universities and whatnot and read these white papers. And it's just nuts. It's every day is so cool. Like the sky's the limit. We can stretch our brain. We've all heard, right? You lose 2% of your brain. You lose 5% of your brain. You use 10% of your brain. Well, whatever it is, nobody knows because we haven't measured the whole thing yet. But we know it's a ton to do, right? If you could just increase it 2 or 3%, you'd be fixed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right? Yeah, just another 1 or 2% can dive.
Oh,
that's a lot.
Change the world. Yep.
Yeah. I saw some papers within the last year, some write-ups, about, especially when it came to diet, it was the link to sugar, especially all this processed sugar and stuff like that, and access. Yeah. People have a huge amount, like that's all you drink is soda, sugar, and all this stuff. That there's a link, some sort of a link, with that, and was it dementia and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, the huge link with sugar is cancer. I mean, cancer loves sugar.
Highly
and
acidic.
We're all kind of walking around with, a cancer cell in us that's just waiting to kind of go off, right? It's like smoking a cigarette and getting cancer, right? So if you have a slingshot and you get blindfolded and spun around and behind you is a glass building, like 1,000 glass windows, right? And you spin around and shoot marble out of the slingshot and maybe hit the building, maybe you don't know where you're going, right? But smoke another cigarette, spin around again, smoke another cigarette. Finally, you're going to break a window, right? At some point, you're going to break a window from that. And that's after 2-3 windows are broken, all the windows start coming apart, right? And so we found the same thing with sugar it's cancer loves it. It's just it's a cancer building machine, especially refined sugar.
Ooh, yeah.
Fructose is a little better, but not a lot, unfortunately, because I love fruit. But yeah, it's refined sugar is just. There's a lot of good studies that show it's fairly addictive. Which,
Oh, yeah.
I think if we would have found sugar today, then it'd be classified as something else. But that again might be a story for another time.
Oh, yeah. That's another show. Yeah, that's definitely another show.
Like your show, let's do 4 or 5 of them. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any like techniques or like exercises, simple exercises that you could share in order to or to explain, give an example in order to kind of exercise the brain and kind of, I know crossword puzzles are a good one.
They are. Good one. I'm doing a book right now, which they say don't do a book while you're finishing your publishing, but I'm doing a book with Gigi Porman. Gigi Porman's 102 years old, and she's like a rubber band neuroplasticity wise. I mean, she is plastic. She's up and about, moving around. She walks with a cane, but just goes everywhere she wants to go, puts her makeup on, does a crossword puzzle every morning, speaks a few languages, has super close relationships, which is really tied into neuroplasticity. Just, she's like the poster child for it, right? So I'm writing her biography.
Wow.
It's so much fun because she's super cool. She's 102. You know what she cares about? It ain't what you care about. It's just whatever she cares about, right? And it's awesome. Like, this is a real person and just flayed open and just true. Right? It's so cool. And she's a blast and just darling and I'm 6'5" and she's like a 5 foot tall. She's like this little tiny thing. And yeah, we know what can keep you more neuroplastic. You can show it right there. So like with Gigi Porman, we can look at her life and we can say, okay, do these things and you can end up this way, sort of thing, right? So not always there, nothing's 100%, and I'm not a miracle worker, but I can share with you the science. So anytime you're using your brain to do something new, what they call novel, helps improve your neuroplasticity. So a couple of good ones that I just think are fun, and a couple that I'll give you a little warning about. So one is you switch your hand up for your tooth. I'm right-handed, and switch your toothbrush, and try to do it. It just activates a new it's not even a new neural pathway. You use your left hand. You don't use it skillfully if you're right-handed dominant. So just changing that up a little bit, and that'll help that part of your neuroplasticity, right? That'll make you more plastic. Like you said, puzzles. And for me, learning, the things I remember most was when I was having fun learning. Like people I teach, we have a lot of fun. We're about 50-50 getting something done and 50-50 laughing about something most of the time. And that's kind of hard when you got 200 people in the room and you're like, okay, now I gotta settle down. We're up against the lunch break kind of thing. But when you're having fun, you are a vast, superior learner. So if you can find something that you'd love to do, like maybe it's wanting to play guitar, maybe you're strumming a guitar, maybe you always want to learn French or anything else. I don't, but I think it'd be cool to learn like Polynese or something fun, right? But, so they're just learn new things and stay on top of it. I think a lot of it, like anything else in life, is just awareness. I want to be more neuroplastic. I want to be more cognitively acute. So I'm going to do things that make me think, right? So I tell people, like, I'm not telling you to get rid of your phone. I get the hate mail. Just take a step back here. And I'm not telling you to get rid of your phone, but instead of throwing on Waze or Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever you use, maybe take a look at the map, get an idea where you're going. And you know what? When I was a kid, we had a phone. It was attached to the wall in the house, and you didn't call a person, you called a place, right? And you could drop that thing from a 5-story building, right? I mean, so you can survive without a map, right? You don't need to be told where to go, and it's a simple thing you can do, learn a different way, and it's right there in front of you, right? And another thing I get a little hate mail on sometimes, like, I can't get rid of my CRM. Don't want you to get rid of your CRM. I don't want to stop using your calendar on your phone or anything like that, but we just have Julie and I, we just have a little a little pocket calendar. It's an academic calendar. It's a week at a glance. And we only put stuff in there that we love. Like we just got back from Monterey. So we had our trip in Monterey in there, right? And we got a movie booked this weekend or whatever. So we just put our fun stuff in there, but writing, opening it up, thinking about it, writing it down. Those are 3 or 4 different sensory inputs that improve your neuroplasticity, is writing a schedule down. And you know what? When you write it down, I don't have to look at it again. I know the movie's at 9 o'clock. I mean, I wrote it down, and you just remember it better. So writing, journaling, that's another one. We have morning routines that'll just make you more neuroplastic throughout your whole day. And that's what we do at Over 51. I mean, it's a clearinghouse of information that we just had to revamp so much because people really like the idea of learning a lot about it. So it's under construction because we got to get it just be able to streamline the process of learning that stuff a little bit better. And, it's my first thing, but the community's turned into a movement. And so we're making it better. Plus with the book, there's all that in there. So, the courses, they're all there online, and it's loads of information, cool stuff too, lots of fun stuff too. If it's not fun, you're probably not. You're not going to find it.
Yeah, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to learn anything if you're not having fun doing it. Now, speaking of phones, because that thought even came into my mind right before you said cell phones, and that segues into this question: is with all this technology that we have out, do you see any decline in neuroplasticity, or is it kind of plateauing?
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to open the doors to the hate mail. It's coming. Just bring it on. So 100%, absolutely. Right. Don't look at your screens 4 hours before you go to bed. 4 hours. I go to bed midnight. No, don't stop at 9 o'clock. I mean, it's your brain. Do with it as you please. Right. But your brain is not in decline. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to figure that out. So, right. So cell phones, wah, 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 right? I mean, they're tough on you, right? It does everything for you. It's your calendar. When I was a kid, I had 50 phone numbers memorized. I don't have my kids' phone numbers memorized. I don't know. I don't call them. I push a button, right? We used to, I've already told you I'm ancient. We had a phone in our house. We used to get an email, right? And you would type a response, right? Well, now on Gmail, you can click the thing and it makes a response for you. And you go, that's pretty close. Oh, okay. You don't have to think anymore. You don't have to think to drive places because you got maps. You don't have to think to write anything down because you can speak it into your phone. And we have taken all of the sensory input that makes us smart, and we're giving it over to AI and stuff like that. I'm not saying AI, and I don't care, bring the hate mail, but I'm not saying don't use AI. I mean, you can't not. My alarm clock has AI, right? So don't worry about the AI, but then if you're going to use that, right, read it over, or I don't know, if you combat it with something else, like, okay, I did 2 hours and I had to do these reports and I had to look, like I use a lot of AI to look up citations because I get them wrong all the time. I'm dyslexic. I write them out wrong almost every time. And so I got this little thing that kind of checks my citations, because you write about neuroplasticity. Everybody, I didn't do this. I didn't do the science behind it. I give it to, I give them the credit for it, obviously. So, but I remember having to look those things up, and we had a Dewey Decimal System in the library. We don't have libraries.
Yeah.
Right? We used to sit in Starbucks and read a book, or we used to sit in Barnes and Noble and read a book. Right? And now it's on our Kindle and we're up, and then the screen's on, and then that takes away from it. And you nailed it, man. You nailed it. The screens and the phones and the technology, it can really hinder your neuroplasticity. On the other hand, neurofeedback machines, virtual reality, we're seeing a lot of steps forward using technology to improve neuroplasticity. So once again, all of life has a yin and a yang, right? And so you got to focus on what you focus on and make a decision, take action, go after it. You can you can create your own set of habits that allow you to take action and go after it easier and have fun doing it and enjoy the process and all sorts of stuff. So it's cognitive longevity is a simple habit. It's not a difficult habit. It's not a long, drawn out process. I have a lot of fun. And I want to tell you, cognitive longevity is simple habit. Your brain makes habits automatically. Don't fight it. Go with it. Come the easy way. Come over here. So that's how we can combat it. So the technology, good, bad, but you can always choose, right? Make good decisions and choose to have it be empowering in your life. And it will be.
Yeah, not using technology as much as, for a crutch all the time. And all the time. It's like
it's so easy too.
They used to say, once upon a time, they still say it, there's a pill for everything. Now, there's an app for everything.
True. That's so true.
Like,
Times changed. In 1950, it was one of the most profitable things to have a sign above your doorway that said chemical, like dry chemical clothes cleaning. And it was like, oh, it's the cutting edge, it's chemical. Now we're like chemicals, right? Everything's gotta be organic and chemicals. I want chemicals.
Yeah.
So, same change. It's only been 70 years. It's the 50s.
Oh man.
Times changed.
Yeah. So, Stu, how can people, for those who are watching, website scrolling on the bottom, it'll also be in our show notes, but where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at over51.com for sure. And if you go like right now, so if you go tomorrow from the time of the airing of the show, I don't know when it hits the air, but it's it's under construction for the next like week or 10 days or something like that. But after that, by the time you're hearing this, go to over51.com. So over51.com is a clearinghouse of information, resources, solutions on how to build habits that naturally follow your brain's neurology that lead to a destiny that is fulfilling and leaves a legacy of impact.
Mm.
If you want to do that, go to over51.com. I'm there. I'm Stu at over51.com. I think the book is, Power, Influence, Purpose. It's at powerinfluencepurpose.com. And if you look up neuroplasticity, you'll probably find me about third page down on Google or something like that. But yeah, buy the book. As a matter of fact, with the book, we've done a $250 course that's been very well received, and we decided to revamp that and put it in the book. So you buy the book for, I don't know what it is, $20 or something like that, $24. You get the course, the $250 course, as part of the book, and it's been revamped, and it's me.
Nice.
Yep, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You learn a ton of stuff, and it's 25. It's 7 modules and 25 interactive lessons on step-by-step process of becoming more neuroplastic, and loads of resources in there, and you can print PDFs and checklists, and the workbook for the book. You can buy it on Amazon, and I encourage you to, or you can buy the book and then download it for free as well. But either way, it's good. And then I think for your audience too, we have just a mini course. I think 5 neuroplastic strategies that you can be able to get that at over51.com too. And just it'll be in the show note links, I guess, the link in the show notes.
Yeah.
And you can go there and just get a free course. And just get kind of a taste of what we do, and if it works for you and how you like it. And if you don't, there's lots of folks that we can refer you to. There's lots of scientists we work with, and there's lots of neuroplasticity experts, and almost everybody knows more about than I do. But I just love teaching, and it's been a passion of mine for 30 years, or since I was about 10, so maybe a little longer than 30 years. But
Yeah.
When my nana got dementia, I wanted to fix your brain somehow. This is where now you got over51.com. You do it for free. Come for free. Have fun doing it.
Yeah. Wow, it's a wake up call. When we start to see a rise in Alzheimer's, dementia, it's a wake up call. It's like what, and not just that too. It's like you've got all these other conditions and ADD, ADHD, all this stuff. Yeah. It's like where I never had those acronyms when I was growing up. Now it's like they're everywhere. It's like what happened?
Yeah, it's true. We used to have real, more narrow conditions for a stroke too.
Yes.
Strokes are way up. High blood pressure, stress. There's another one. Stress. You want to get dumb quick, right? So, neuroplasticity doesn't fix stupidity, but stress makes you less intelligent. Okay, I don't know how to say that easier to stop the email, but being stressed out. If you work at a job and you're stressed all the time, your life is worth more than that, right? It doesn't matter, right? You got to live with your brain forever. So you got to watch your stress. You have to watch your stress. It's a huge impact on your neuroplasticity and your happiness and why get to the end of it. I worked in the emergency department for 22 years. I've treated patients and with emergency medicine and been in the middle of chaos 1,000 times maybe.
Yeah.
And there's never been anyone I met that said, "Oh man, go spend more time at the office." They're all this little old lady going, "Go say, go tell your wife you love her," kind of a thing, right? I mean, get some perspective on it. I know this. I worked in medicine. You're gonna die. It's gonna come to an end. Leave a legacy that's impactful and get to the end with a good, not just lifespan, but a good health span. Improve your cognitive health span. That's what we can do. That's my call to action. Adopt intelligent cognitive communication that works with your neurology to naturally create empowering habits that lead to a destiny of purpose and a legacy of impact. That's my call to action for you, because we are changing the way people are thinking about aging.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Oh, man. So before we wrap up the show, everybody definitely go check out the over50.com. Or over 50. I say over 50 again. Over 51. That extra number. Man. Over51.com. Check it out. And also go to the show notes, and you can read get the book and see more about what the book and neuroplasticity. And before we end the show, what would you like to offer as a takeaway for our guests?
Something for your guests, like a gift for your guests?
Either that or just a takeaway, just like words of wisdom, my friend. Words of wisdom. Or you just said it. I mean, everything you said right now is like a takeaway. But it's like, what is the biggest thing you want to leave words of wisdom for our audience?
Well, gosh, if you're looking to me for words of wisdom, that might be the first word of wisdom I give you. But I tell you, don't settle for the myth of aging when we know your brain continues to evolve. Don't settle for that myth. There's no stop sign on that. So just join the movement. Get on board with neuroscience-based backed solutions to stay plastic. Stay plastic, man. All right, stay neurally plastic. Have a long, healthy, happy neuroplastic life. And it's in your hands. You can do it. You can do it. I can show you how to do it easy and fun. Easy and fun is all I can guarantee. It may take you a while, but easy and fun.
Yeah. Work at it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Work at it, and work at it. Stay off the sodas. Stay off the sugar. Do the exercises. Get the book. Go to over51.com. Big51.com. Stu, blessings, my friend. You're doing awesome work. You're gifted. You're a blessing to everybody out there, to the world. You're doing awesome.
Great job. Thank you very much. Yep, appreciate your show, the opportunity to be on it. I love it. So, yep, thank you very much. It's been my honor.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for watching Conscious Radio Network's The Seance. We will see you next time.